We'll go over both of your videos. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, or at least tell you my thoughts about it, because you play much better than I. And since all of your questions are about Zakk's technique, which is a bit different from Anton's in the way he implements the same concepts, but optimized for 2 notes per string, as I see it. So I'll start with trying to play the first part of Soul My Soul solo, which you demonstrate in your video, so we can talk about it. Something like that, I believe. Okay, so we'll talk about it because I practiced it yesterday a bit, what I could remember, and today also for a small session. And I'll tell you what I feel today, like few years later, after I encountered this solo, which I couldn't play. Like this solo is all or nothing. Either you can play it or you can't. So at that point I couldn't. Today I believe if I really put my thoughts and work into it, I guess it could work. But I'll tell you what are the main points which I actually used from my video I made about Zakk's technique that really helped me to get it less bad than it was yesterday. There's also this part. Something like that, which is actually much easier for me because I always practice starting like from the pinky. So starting from this finger, I lose control very fast. I mean, it's not in sync. This one. Is much more in control for me. Because I practiced it and not so that's the first problem that I had to overcome, is actually practicing a bit. And the transition here is very tricky. And I'm actually using your muting technique, like muting from the wrist also, palm muting. So we'll go over the videos and talk about everything.
Dima, how you doing? Sending over the video that we talked about. So very excited to review stuff with you and try to
cool,
make sense
short,
of everything.
Amazing guitar.
So what I'd like to do is I'm going to go over different points of picking through Troy Grady. I've had lots of lessons, various lessons with John Taylor from Mile High Shred. Sorry about that. John Taylor from Mile High Shred, who's
don't know about him.
Incredible Guinness Book of World Records winner for speed and technicality. Ben Eller, Levi Clay, who got me started.
Familiar with Levi.
Finding
Ben
Troy
Eller
Grady, of
sounds
course.
familiar.
Troy Grady too. So kind of like you, I've had a lot of great players that have given me a lot of good tips, and I've gotten better at my picking. But to be a great player and to combine that, like you said, with being able to properly teach that and explain it and give you lessons to do it right.
To totally different things.
That's a huge challenge, and that's where I'm still lacking. And when I get the time, like I said, beginning of the year, I need to go to Anton and just do it, you know?
Yeah, so I'll have to say that your level is amazing. We're gonna see it in a moment. And in this case, for Anton is a different technique, but I'll show you what Anton might give you with 2 notes per string. We have a guy that can do 2 notes per string, similar like wrist picking, very nice. But for Zakk Wylde, I don't see really a reason to go for Anton. I think you're almost there.
But in the meantime, let me show you some picking stuff here. And I'll just kind of go over the picking categories, or, you know, like palm muting, anchor points, and tell me if I'm making sense or if I'm crazy. So
as I said in my previous, in the tutorial I made about Zakk Wylde, I think actually using an Ibanez RG for those, if I upload this video to YouTube, and maybe you can allow it to be like public so people can learn, because we're all together in this. So Ibanez RG might be actually a good thing to get used moving the hand along with the guitar, and the guitar is less heavy, so it might be actually useful to have an Ibanez RG even for this style. At first, at least.
So, one thing that Troy talks about, first we'll go into the grip. I used to hold the pick, I used to actually hold like this, and it's fine for strumming, disaster.
For strumming, Paul Gilbert from his online guitar school at Artist Works, he's holding with the 3 fingers. No. So actually for strumming, if it's like long strumming, 3 fingers, don't even bother with 2 fingers. Again, for those who are watching, it's like video for everybody, I hope. 2 fingers strumming, your pick is just wiggling there. I mean, the force that you have with the trying to pass 6 strings is just like plucks the pick out of your fingers. And that's the reason Paul moved to very thin picks like this one from Dunlop 0.5. It's very bendy, it gets really small fast, like the edge wears out very fast, but it's very nice for strumming.
For a horrible string hopping. So I used to hold the pick like that.
Yeah, and Zakk uses the 1mm Ultex Dunlop, I think, with custom printing, obviously, for every tour. People just jumping on the picks in the middle of the show. Yngwie is the one probably who simply gives away like I guess hundreds of picks in his show.
Which it's okay for obviously slower speeds, but when you need to speed it up,
string hopping
is death. So we know that. So what I do now is I'll do kind of, they call it the trigger grip, trigger pad, and then thumb on top. I think the one thing that really differentiates grip, trigger pad.
Now from here.
So what I do now is I'll do kind of, they call it.
From this angle, it looks like, I think it's like 3 stripes. It looks like a jazz, but black jazz pick. I don't remember if I have. Yeah, I think it's this. Every guitarist has to have a lot of useless picks, right? So from this angle, it looks. Will you focus? Maybe. Yes, and from this angle, it looks like a Jazz 3 with the. But this is the Jazz 3, I think. No, with max grip. Yeah, so those picks are very bad. I mean, I hate them. At least, because look at the difference of the size. Like, this has a lot of grip, and if you're going to try the Zakk Wylde approach from picking from your elbow, like forearm, elbow, call it whatever you want, having a big pointy sharp pick rather than this small one, which has almost no friction in your hand, no stability, like it's just moving. Even the tips of my fingers are sometimes slip from this pick. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. When I hold it, I don't know, this finger, don't know the naming, this finger sticks out as much as the edge of the point of the pick, so I need to hold it. Now I'm holding the picks mostly on the knuckle, even if I use like 2 fingers only, not 3 fingers like Anton. Still, I'm using the knuckle now mainly, like offsetting the thumb like a bit to the right, and holding this pick. If I can't really put it on the knuckle, I need to bend this part a lot so it doesn't stick with the tip of the pick. It's a problematic pick. I think I should go with at least like camera focus. Yeah, so here we have the Jazz 3, the Ibanez, something like that, the Ibanez and Zakk Wylde, like so a huge difference. Now they are leveled somewhat. That's it. So yeah, this one's just Ibanez Paul Gilbert, which he doesn't use obviously, but it's very, very comfortable. And the bigger one is his brother from Zakk. Let's switch to the nicer pickup so it doesn't kill us. It's very useful to leave it like to have the hand like far away relatively on the body, but still reaching the string.
About the trigger grip, trigger pad?
It's small, very small details, and I'm sorry this video is probably gonna be a bit too long, like 40 minutes, but it's all about the details, really. If you want to find the correct way, it's always about the details.
And then thumb on top. I think the one thing that really differentiates us right now is that I'll kind of keep my fingers not out but loose, and I don't have this one touching. Differentiates us right now is that I'll kind of keep my fingers not out but loose, and I don't have this one touching. I've been trying that a little bit.
And I tried it also, like trying to replicate Anton. No, because I need the rotation, I need the forearm rotation, and by forearm rotation I mean that I'm usually not rotating during picking. When I say forearm rotation, I mean like I rotate the forearm this way, that's it, it's locked. It's just for the elbow to work in this way and not parallel to the string, like inside the string plane and outside inside, like between the strings, rest on the bottom string and lift out, get out of the strings. The forearm, the rotation, if there is any, it's like after a few months or weeks after I started practicing, I just went from working very hard from the hand, from the elbow, like if I really lock everything together, as I talked about. So this whole region, now it's locked. If I hold it a bit loosely and I try to play fast, it happened over time. Now notice it's everything under control still. If I lock, there is slight rotation now, and that's if I lock everything together. I mean, it developed over time when I got really in control with the elbow only motion. Like the forearm rotated once and doesn't move, only from the elbow. But then as I got comfortable and really felt control in the left hand synchronization and the right hand, it just started happening after I started practicing two notes, transitions with two strings. It just started rotating on itself, like just trying to minimize the motions and the triangle path that I talked about. Like the top corner, you have access to the bottom string and then to the upper in straight lines from that corner. Yeah, I lost my point. Let's go back.
I think the one thing that really differentiates us.
So holding the pick, two fingers, big pick, and on the knuckle mainly strong grip, not tensed arm. And when you start practicing, I'll go to what I think you should start practicing from.
Right now is that I'll kind of keep my fingers not out but loose, and I don't have this one touching. I've been trying that a little bit, and it feels pretty good. It's still kind of foreign to me having the
this moment you lost control. You have to notice it. This one, I think that's uncontrollable. You can only usually you know it yourself. It's like control is like that was with control. If I try to reach higher speeds without control, you know it's uncontrollable. There's my speed limit, like if you just pick. That's about my speed limit if I want to play controlled. If I try any faster, that's uncontrollable. And you start feeling like really with control, without control. It's just not even. You feel it like something's wrong.
It's still kind of foreign to me having
Yeah, now here.
Good. It's still kind of foreign to me having
Here at this moment, we slow it down.
Feels pretty good.
Sorry.
It's still kind of
It's a bit drunk, but I'm sorry.
foreign to me having the support.
We need to go.
Pretty good. It's still kind of foreign to me having the.
Okay. Notice that at some point
having the.
you actually start playing the setup. I need to figure this out for next time. you actually start going from from up slanting, I guess. No, this looks better. You go like from you start
Foreign to me, having the
you're kind of sliding with the pick in and out. You're like go inside and it's like almost parallel picking. I mean your hand is down but your picking is your forearm is rotated but your picking is still parallel to the guitar. You see? I'm sliding like on the string, like licking the string. Why am I spitting? I'm licking the string because I'm trying to. Basically, what happens is that we try to pass the string like in straight lines, but we don't have support of two knuckles on the string on the pick to pass the string. So we end up the pick is wobbling in our hand, and the whole wrist like goes up and down around the string. So there's this movement inside. That's the problem with Troy Grady's explanation, I think. Not explanation, but the term of pick slanting. Because we can see here the pick is slanted.
foreign to me, having the
But here. Those few frames, you see, if I go slowly, the pick is moving parallel to the strings, and you simply get stuck.
having the middle finger kind of anchoring and giving support to the index, but something I need to keep working on. So that's how I hold the pick.
Yeah, don't bother with the Anton's technique in this case, I think.
One thing that has helped
Here also, notice when you hold the pick naturally.
foreign to me, having the
Look how much your thumb sticks out of the first finger. I think it's a bit too much, at least when Anton teaches us, and what I did also. I like in this case you're like holding it like this, like bring the thumb down, because the main pressure of the on the pick comes from the bone where it's close to the flesh, and here it just wobbles. Like after some time you will understand what I'm talking about, but you just have to trust me and just take the thumb back on the pick where the center of the gravity, and use the tip of your thumb. And at first it's strange. I also held the pick like you would expect someone holding a pick, like just exactly like that. But after now I just understand how much the grip is not useful. You really need the pressure of the knuckles and the tip of the bone of the thumb. It will also be much more comfortable to play on the upper strings and down strings, like in case of Anton. If this moving from this to this gives us additional like centimeter to play on the bottom strings, so we can do the crazy transitions like from 6th string. So we have like approach from the 6th to the 1st. If I held the pick back, I would be in the same position. I would still be in the 2nd string. But if I move the pick further, so I can grab it stronger, and I have access to the 1st string at the same position, like rotation of the wrist. But mainly it's about the force which you can apply, and the pick doesn't go, doesn't go all wobbly on the flesh.
Having the middle finger kind of...
So again, if you pick parallel to the strings, you just slip inside. That's the problem I see here.
Anchoring and giving support to the index, but something I need to keep working on. So that's how I hold the pick. One thing that has helped me, and specifically what got me into all this and why I love Zakk Wylde and you know, started following his stuff more, was the song Sold My Soul.
Obviously,
solo, there's a
like
part
everybody in the
5-7-5-7.
world who loves Zakk, me including.
Low E, then A, D, and then move it up 7-9-7-9. So
It's a very decent speed. I mean, I think that's the speed of the song, pretty much.
It drove me nuts, and I'm still having trouble with it getting it up to speed. When I'm
It's the trouble is the control. We lose control very often. And when you don't feel control, you don't feel that you're, you know, what is this, the word? Self-confidence to play it and everything, you know.
Warmed up. About 150, 155 quarter notes clean is where I...
Warming up helps, obviously, because you just get used to the string tensions feeling, but it's the syndrome of you know, not so good technique, that we can't replicate something as we start, like practicing, just as you saw, like the scale run. I didn't practice it today. I just started practicing it at Anton's school, but still, it's like I'm taking the guitar. I'm the same as I ended yesterday. It's the same point I'm starting from today. It's just shows the robustness if the technique is correct.
I hit my limit. My upstrokes are getting stuck still. So one thing I have been working on that's helped a little bit is that bridge lean we talked about.
Yeah, bridge lean, I think you mean like if the string goes this way, so we like pointing it upwards, so we have more edge to slide on instead of sticking like the corner, the hard corner for a downstroke. I think I do it in Zakk's case because the distortion really doesn't matter about the tone, and yeah, I think it's okay to do in the case of Zakk with Anton, but you learn that it's wrong, and we should pick, hold the pick exactly 90 degrees to the thumb, so the tone of the up and down strokes. So if someone's outside the room, he doesn't know if we're doing downstrokes or upstrokes. But in case of Zakk.
And also the edge picking.
And the edge picking, yes. Edge picking, I forgot to talk about it in the previous video, but it's really important because that's what drives the string to go this way, above the pick, below the pick. Tuck, 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 tuck. If we hold it absolutely parallel to the string, we just hit it. Either your pick breaks or your fingers break or something breaks, but the string doesn't know that it has to pass. He needs some kind of I really need words today. Let's use Google. How do you say rainbow in not rainbow, arc. Sorry, you need some kind of arc to guide the string. That's why because we can't really hold the pick like this, and we don't want to use it like this because we get stuck. So we just make some angle, edge picking, apparently known.
Kind of just have to feel it, right? So if I go straight on, the tip of the pick, it's hard to see, but the tip of the pick is making contact and I get that speed roadblock. If I edge...
Edge, yes, edge is very, very important. So yeah, if I play, I really bend it, like on the down string less. Yeah, and sixth string, it's exactly as you learn in the Tanton school, and everybody talks about it. And the point is actually to just keep the same angle of the edge of the pick relative to the string. So if that's the angle, like that's the angle of the pick here, we want to keep the same angle here, so it does feel like it's just familiar, and we have the same feeling of passing the string with some, you know, the string being thicker, but we can handle it.
Edge pick, I'm picking...
Yeah, currently we're picking, it's like a combination of wrist and arm, so everything's sort of unknown.
Using that part right there.
So we're getting to the important stuff. Yeah, so notice that your pick probably is here, the edge of your pick is around here, so it makes really hard at the top strings, because you also want that angle that we talked about, so the pick gets really close to your wrist. It's really strange feeling. So holding it a bit further with the thumb, tip of the thumb here, like here the pick is here relative to this point, and here centimeter helps a lot.
I'm getting a little bit more speed, it's a little smoother on the upstroke versus using just the tip itself, the straight, you know, pointing directly between the...
Apparently the video is going to be an hour.
So I was interested when you mentioned...
But we're having fun, right?
When you mentioned holding it straight on, I'm curious how you're not getting stuck. So I don't know if Anton goes over...
Yes, so how we don't get stuck, it's a combination of few things. It's the edge picking, so the pick is not flat on the string, because then, I mean, you can see it. Like if it's like flat, I can pull the string wherever I want it, like to the first string. I can break the string, whatever I want. Once I rotate it, it just slides. It's flat, rotate. So the string just jumps under the pick and passes. So the edge and the momentum. So the momentum comes, in case of Zakk, the momentum is easily produced by picking from the elbow, and the forearm rotation, as I told in the video, is simply just to get the pick slanted a bit upwards. Sorry, not to get the pick slanted, it's to rotate the wrist enough, like the whole unit, because you can't rotate really your wrist without the forearm. Is just for your elbow to know that you want to get out like on an up. It's just like hammering hamsters, the game with the hammer, or not hamsters, I don't know. So it's the same feeling if we want to do it here. Like a hammer resting on the bottom string. And in case we're playing it on the top strings, I think your idea of resting the palm of the hand on the strings is very useful, because which I used in the intro, because we mute the top strings so it doesn't sound like a mess. If we go with more distortion, or hit unnecessary strings. And we can control how much we mute if we just move the hand back to the bridge to leave more vibration. And again, I have no control. I mean, I have some control today. Yesterday it was horrible. But this part is still tricky for me, the transition. So, okay, we'll go
over
almost there.
Using some lean.
Let's finish watching the video.
Angling, but I'd love to know about that.
And we'll talk how I think what you should start
anchor points
with practicing.
Really, it's just a natural setup, kind of 60 degrees, and wherever you land. I
think it's 45, but okay.
You see right there that little gap where the light is. That's kind of one anchor point on the forearm. And wherever you land, the key is having. If you see right there that little gap where the light is, that's kind of one anchor point on the forearm. I use the pinky heel right here.
Yeah. In this case I'm using Ibanez RG. I really don't care about any gaps, if I need gap or, I mean, it's not about having the gap, but like having the hand as straight as possible without bending here or here. Just straight and forearm rotation. That's it. There is no like this, like some play, or not like this as I mean I use this more like bent inside when I play on the bottom strings now. It's okay, but it's not from bending the wrist, it's from pushing the fingers on the guitar body and separating the whole hand. Like it's this and not this. So the hand is still basically straight, like the wrist and the forearm. If you start bending things, you just lose control. It's very hard.
And that's the setup that I was taught and I feel comfortable with.
Yeah, so about how do we call it?
One thing that I'm working on.
Anchor points. So yeah, anchor points, as I said in the video. If you have Ibanez RG, it's really great because it doesn't hurt your hand here. So you have the body, and in case of this song specifically, and playing on the upper strings, indeed I just put the palm of my hand on the strings. I moved my center of gravity to the right, so I really feel like I'm sitting on an armchair. And it gave much more control. As soon as I put the hand on the string, you really feel where your guitar is, and you use that hamster hammer. The hand just slides and goes like inside a bit in the strings and the bridge. So as you saw, I just replicated the details. I had to recall from the video what I talked about, and those actually helped me practicing it today and yesterday. So the shifting helped massively. Shifting the body weight to the right, having strong connection with the guitar, with the points. I mean, I tried picking for this video the Les Paul. I played I have a set of 10s, those are 9s strings. Man, it was so hard there, like everything's not comfortable, but I mean I could do it, but really for how having a good contact with guitar will at least teach you how what you need to feel, and you can replicate it on any type of guitar later.
With Chris Zupa, I don't know.
But it's okay. I mean, it's totally doable in this case because I started practicing tones per string with Les Paul. It's just now that I have Ebenezer G, I think you're totally
I don't know if you know him, but he's out of Australia. He's a great guitarist, good guy, funny guy.
And as I said, your speed, I think it's very good. I mean, even from what you're doing here, it's amazing. I couldn't do it a few years ago.
One thing that he realized that I do, and I don't.
Who?
I don't know if you know him, but he.
Who?
One thing that I'm working on with Chris Zupa. I don't know if you know him, but he's out of Australia.
Chris Zupa, like since the dawn of YouTube guitar channels, Chris Zupa is there to help us all. I don't know how he picks with the fingernail.
He's a great guitarist, good guy, funny guy. One thing that he realized that I do, and I don't know if
you should
do this
start
too,
a YouTube channel.
So that Sold My Soul part, I would keep everything planted, and I'd be so worried about losing the setup that I would do this.
Yeah, so here you do the like inward rotation of the wrist. Instead of this. So you do there we go. So you go like and I go from this angle, you do, and I do. I mean, in my case, it's locked together. Like there is no wrist movement unless I'm going like high speed and trying to optimize everything, which very often can also get stuck, and I have to go back to the basics again, like put the guitar up enough, strong connection, that's it, and start picking from the elbow only. Nice, huh? So it's pretty much like the invention of ours. Now you're going to talk about moving the hand forward for going down, and your question is about
the setup that I would do this. And if you see right here, I started turning like that, and I end up with this weird, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah, it's if we're talking about Anton style, we rotate the wrist only at this angle. A good representation of what's like to understand. It was really hard for me at the beginning in the school, the first lesson, why I failed the first submission, because I couldn't understand what is like, he says pick straight, and you don't know like what's picking straight. Is this picking straight? Is this picking straight? Is this picking straight? Like it's very subtle point of how much of what's picking straight is. And for me, what helped is the guitar itself, this point, like the body, because what happened is when I put my forearm on the guitar, and the forearm, because it's fleshy on the bottom, it's like a cushion. So my the two bones like in the forearm, I don't know how they're called, they become like parallel to the guitar. And then I just use the 2 points. This point, the bottom of the thumb, the fleshy point, is slightly touching the guitar. So this is the anchor point, and this is the part that I make touching the guitar. And that's how I found what's picking straight for me is. There. Let's do this. You see, so the problem is basically what you're having now is that at the beginning I was doing like this, or this, or this. I mean, it's all wiggling. It's just lack of control of the basically forearm rotation, because you're like picking down, you rotate inside instead of this. So it's, you see, my whole forearm rotates like outside, inside, outside, inside, instead of holding it. That's about the question, how tense do you need to be in the forearm? I think that's the key, is like concentrated enough that your forearm doesn't rotate during picking. Not this, but mainly not this. This is the problem, because when I lift my this part, I mean, now I can concentrate, I believe, on a Gibson Les Paul where the bridge is taller and you don't get the reference points. It's harder, but I guess I'll have to try someday that I can still keep it picking straight without the reference points. But those really helped to straighten my picking, to understand what's this point, not this, not whatever. Like really control the forearm rotation, because if you rotate at the same time of picking, it never worked for me. It never worked for my past 8 years of me doing it, and
so what
that's the result of this
what he does,
weird.
He's blistering
angle.
fast. I see Anton do it, and a lot of this great players.
Like what you saw, like, is strange.
They have their setup. You start with the setup, and you kind of move. You kind of.
I heard this theory. Indeed, some people talk about it. But the problem is then you have to. The first teacher I had, Anton is not the first online teacher I had. The teacher before it told us like you have to play 3 strings. And then you have to move your arm, forearm, slide it on the guitar, and continue playing. I failed his first lesson, after which I switched to Anton. I failed it twice because I couldn't do the slide. I mean, my hand just always like sweaty. I don't know. I thought maybe the finish on the guitar is wrong. I don't know. I didn't understand how he does that. Maybe his hand is hairier than mine, so I get stuck. But after I switched to Anton, it was like, no, we find one position, we play from it. If you want to play upper strings, we place the hand up, higher. If we mainly play on the down, we can lower it, but we don't transition, we don't move our forearm during playing, like if we scale or what you're doing now. Once you start moving, you're losing that grip you have with the guitar, the reference points. I mean, if now I have to play like, if I don't put my fingers on the guitar body, like trying to do if I played it like 5 years ago, I just there is no moment that I put my hand enough on the body to concentrate on picking and not holding my forearm and elbow. So yeah, that's one guitar myth that should be destroyed.
Bridge to neck if you're going up the strings, and you're using your elbow as a seesaw motion. I'm not very good at it. Don't
do
hold
it.
me on it
Just
right
don't
now.
do it. Forget about it.
I've kind of been working just
That's
and just being.
That's I mean, maybe you moved a bit as I saw, but that was okay.
Comfortable, like giving myself approval to just kind of move down the string.
You lost exactly what happened now. This will always happen if you move your forearm during picking. Just don't. That's exactly what will keep happening, and happen to me. Happens to everybody that tries to implement the forearm movement. Something else like No, either you're locked, like if in case if I play when I tried, because you talked about playing on an upper string, so I had to try it on myself first to make it you know, real and all. I mean the hand moves only on the skin. The skin, the same part of the skin stays in contact. It's just the fleshy part that moves inside. There is no movement like sliding, you know, how do you say, rub. There's no guitar rubbing. It's a nice guitar, but we're not rubbing it. Yeah, so that's oh yeah. So the only movement I do when I cross strings. Let's see from this angle. Up. Okay, so let's see. Nah. I need to sit properly, as I said. That's the result. You just, when you lose the details, like sitting properly. Ah, no, it sucks. It's just, it's quite the opposite. It's the opposite. I mean, it's sort of a seesaw. Maybe you can call it like that. I don't know. Pretty much my picking is always along this line, this pickup, and it's like back and forth, but on the flash. But it's not like moving forward. Actually, it's just that if I did like only this rotation to the right, like rotating the forearm and not moving it. I get stuck with the volume knob, so that's not nice. Let's start. If I start at the same. No, it's weird, really weird. Yeah, so it's kind of seesaw, but the hand, the same pressure applies. Still, if you even press really hard, you still can move the hand on the meaty part of your hand, but it's not. It doesn't mean that I lift the forearm and actually moving my hand forward.
Maintains the good wrist positioning, and then same thing on the way back. And so I'll just do that. I'll throw the metronome on, do some harmonics, and because I don't want to end up doing this. So
yeah, look at this point. No.
For pick holding too with my picking proper. You know, the elbow thing I've been working on too with my picking.
All right. Okay.
Proper. Because I don't want to end up doing.
Yeah,
do
look what happened here. Look what happens. No. At the end, somewhere in the end.
Because I don't want metronome on, do some harmonics, and
I think you're sliding a bit with the pick inside the guitar body because of the parallel picking.
because I don't want to end up doing this. So, you know, the elbow thing I've been working on too with my picking.
You're sliding inside because you're not rotated with the forearm.
The other thing is, let me kind of zoom in here a little.
I mean, you started really good with the transitions and all, but at the end you probably just went like turned this way, the forearm, and then you started getting inside too much.
A bit. The other thing that Anton talks about, and same thing with Troy, and Troy's actually quoted Anton a little bit, and hopefully they'll do a collaboration because I think the two of them just their knowledge is just awesome. Is for downward pick slanting.
Yeah, Troy did really nice videos, nice collaborations, but I didn't see any results like coming out of it in the long term for students, for people. So maybe it's a good thing that he doesn't do. I mean, spreading the myths, as I said, like pick slanting, that if you slant just for the sake of slanting, it's just a bad idea. So I don't know. I think it should be proper. You know, one human does like all the steps, and not one guy trying to cover all the techniques that are possible and not getting any one of them to the proper level.
Really just alternate picking, going in and out of the string, in and out of the plane. I try not to have the pick too deep.
Yeah, controlling the picking depth. Indeed, it's made if I play on the down string, on the thin strings, it's done from the fingers and the forearm on the guitar body. If you don't bend, if you don't let your fingers bend or something else, just slide it on the body. The picking depth is really easy to control once you get used to holding it all together. We need some dynamics to... It's really consistent, really easy, really controllable. So fingers are the key for
a little bit shallow
for the picking.
I do use rest stroke.
And at the upper strings, I used your approach, and fingers are still on the guitar body, but the main pressure is on the palm, on the strings, and the rest picking, which we're talking about in a second. I mean, you can bend the wrist outside and inside to control the picking, but you need to try and use the same force you apply to as an anchor point. Yeah, upper strings is a totally different thing. I'm glad you asked all those questions. It's indeed a topic on its own that should be covered.
Strokes. I don't know if you use rest strokes
that I should
too,
have covered, but
which is you strike the E string, for instance, and you.
So here again, you're doing the same weird forearm rotation and wrist picking at the same time, which really not good. Just elbow, not this. It feels very controllable at first. It generally feels very intuitive and controllable instead of trying to do it from the elbow and using the fingers for stabilization or the palm. But in terms of speed, I get stuck.
kind of just land on the A, and it forces you to not string hop. It's in, out.
That's what we do, but we just do it from the elbow, forearm. Again, just rotated it outside, so the elbow knows we need to get out on up. Oh, hey, here. Notice here what's happening here. You're just sliding. That's the problem with the slanting without for the sake of slanting. Your picking is parallel to the string, yet your pick slanted. That's exactly what I showed in my previous video. That I slanted the pick, like holding it weird, and trying to hit past the string. And if you do pass, you just slide inside. See? That moment. That's it. See? You see, you just go actually the opposite. You're going, instead of outside, what happened is you go this way. See? There are few. That's it. Up. I mean, that's you see, if we go frame by frame, let's go. You start very good, but still, look, your string is just like this. I mean, instead of this. That's what we need to do. Instead, you do this, and that's why you get stuck, or you just slide inside. Let's go frame by frame. Go up, still parallel. You see, that's the parallel, what I'm talking about. Instead, it should have been like this, resting on the down string, going up, resting on the down string, going up here. Instead, you go like this, this, this. Instead, it should have been here and there. Like deeper on the down string, resting on the down string, deeper, and going up outside. And then at some point, you start sliding. You saw you slipped inside. You shouldn't. Your pick even shouldn't be at this point. Never.
And then when the muscle thing I was telling you about, when it's that little guy right there, when I'm trying to pick up speed. So this is all red.
That's uncontrolled. That's uncontrolled. You know it, and soon the video will end. I'll stop talking finally for you. I'm sorry if that's not what you expected about this video. I'm really sorry. I don't want. It's like just forget. Just my opinion. Like, forget about this video, anyways. That's uncontrolled. Totally uncontrolled. That's what I tried. If you want to feel like. It's a cool effect, but we can't do with it anything.
And then try to turn the muscle on. Wrist.
That's the motion I was talking about, but slow it down, and let's talk about what I think you should practice at this point, and we'll end this video. I think it's like the last one of the last questions. I think you should start, if you want to really to play this song anyways. So I think you should start, as I said in my previous video, from one string on the lower string. But do it, practice it, not starting from the pinky, from other hand. Do the opposite, so you work on your right hand, keeping it all together, like sitting properly, as I said, fingers, stability, a bit of rotation, forearm rotation, so we don't pick parallel, because that's what's happening if you don't rotate and pick outside. So we just hold the pick like straight to the relative to the wrist, and then we rotate the forearm, and that's how we achieve this angle, and those paths are achieved by the elbow. So you can practice but do it in control, with metronome, sitting, suffering every single second of your life. Make sure your fingers keep in contact with the guitar, and watch your right hand if you need. You should really watch your right hand anyways, because you need to figure out that you really don't hit the upper string. That you pick from your elbow, that you don't pick parallel, or just doing slanting and picking parallel. And in this way you also get the concepts I'm not in control. You see that's how it sounds. That's control. If I try playing any faster, that's pretty much my current limit. That's actually my current limit for this. From starting from this finger. If I rotate the opposite, like this one is in control much faster, because I practiced it mentally. It's like it feels like two different worlds. It's the same lick essentially, just rotating, just switching the the accents. If we hit the metronome from tuck, 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 and then we use like tuck, tuck, tuck. It's totally different. That's why it was so hard for me yesterday, and the upper strings. And later you can start with practicing on the upper string for the solo. I think the hardest part about it is this transition. If you can make it precise and clean, like taka, 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 and not some mess. But actually, this transition is really hard. I still mess up the transition. It's like weird slides, slow it down, really slow it down. But again, just get used to first on the I mean, we talked about you practicing the opposite. You get the idea. Slow it down as much as you can. You can practice the both of them. I mean, just alternate one or another. A few minutes of that, whichever you like. That's not control.
So it's really wrist activating here, and that's just
wrist
for one
and
string. Now, for me, I feel that I do use a little forearm rotation when I switch strings. So
yeah, so I do forearm rotation even during picking, but that's really optimizations. Maybe even slightly picking from the wrist, but that will happen naturally 100%. Just start with practicing this one, and then transitions. And as I said, with rest strokes on the second or third string, occasionally you can go down to the first one or the fourth, and you'll find out how different the feeling from like opening your fingers. It's totally different feeling for every string, so we just need to practice every string. But it's totally
try to get high
doable.
enough upstroke to then go to the next string. So it's,
see, that was great. The angle, the triangle path, like inside guitar, outside guitar, that was great.
If this is just pure
The problem is that you're doing it for now with the wrist and forearm rotation weird thing, but the general idea, you totally got it. You see, that's...
If this is
the sixth string, you did great.
It's just
Pure, indeed. Like now, for the fifth string, you started picking parallel. I think no, that's you get out. Okay. Oh, here's you go outside, inside, outside. Okay. And then you're sort of trying to go parallel. No, that one was also okay. Yeah, but I think what happens is because of the forearm rotating during picking, the rotation outside, it's not like done from the elbow outside. You're trying to do it with rotating the forearm, and that's why you get stuck. It looks like you're starting to go parallel to the string, but which will get stuck. But in fact, you're just rotating outside to get out, instead of just picking in straight line. So just ignore the forearm rotation, just do straight things with the elbow. Straight lines.
But then I try to get some of that forearm wrist blend.
Don't blend stuff. As Anton says, just don't blend two motions in one. But I wish I had your speed. I mean, I couldn't do it. And I think that it's not perfect, far from perfect. So really great results. As I said, you're almost there, I think.
Yeah, so kind of just to recap, anchor points, forearm, palm heel.
Almost done.
I'm kind of between the pickups. Using the saw motion to move this way.
Yeah, we don't do
and then
that
back, so
here.
you don't cock your wrist and then kind of get it stuck here, and then you can't do anything.
There is no rotation of the wrist relative to the forearm. There is only bending the thumb to achieve the same angle for edge picking, as you said. So rotating the forearm, we don't need to rotate the wrist. We just slide it, keep the same. You see the skin still attached, it's not rubbing the guitar. That's the limit of how much I can move without starting to shift on the skin. But that's totally enough to get from first to sixth with maybe tiny bit of elbow turning, just like a wrist picking, but we just rotate at least the elbow, so it's like yeah.
Keeping my wrist, right here we go. trying to not keep it flexed.
Not
right?
Yes, not
trying not to do the Marty Friedman, Zakk Wylde. It worked.
yeah, as I said, I think it just looks as if we bend it inside, but it's not. It's straight, but the forearm rotation, because you see the inner side of the thing, I think it's more visual. But Marty Friedman is like, also Marty Friedman, maybe, I don't know, he does like bending it like that. Because even from this point, let's say, yeah, maybe he bends like from downside, maybe. I don't know, Zakk, I think it just looks like that because that's what it is. It's not like that. If I do like that, it looks like really strange. That's like, I guess that's like Marty Friedman. I don't. Let's not experiment on that one.
Works for them, but I can't do it.
So yeah, it's just visually it looks like it's very bent, but it's not bent. It's straight, but you see the inner side. That's it. Because of the fingers and the rotation and the angles, you see the camera. But that's pretty much straight. And this from the fingers that lifting it. All this together seems like he bends it like that.
A little bit of flexion, a little bit this way.
But a little bit
is okay. Just
okay.
A little bit. Let me see what else we got. And then, yeah, wrist blend with the forearm rotation, and then holding.
Don't blend. Play from your elbow. Start practicing what I told you. You'll get the idea from that, from second string, from playing one note, two notes on the second string or the third. You'll just have no questions later.
You know, that was a great little snippet or a little kind of nugget of information you gave, which is not using the tip right here.
Yeah, and get a bigger pick. Try at least a bigger pick. You know, everything is for you to decide,
but more here.
I'm sure you have.
I've been working on that. That's pretty good stuff.
And closer to the tip of the thumb.
Yeah, so those are the points I wanted to go over with you.
Don't bend the fingers like this. Just open the fingers a bit, because you can control how the space here looks. Either it's a circle or it's very closed. We just need something in between, relatively relaxed, and that's relatively in between point. Usually, for most people, will happen to have the thumb and the fingers together, or just hold it together, relax it. I mean, put the tip of the thumb on the knuckle, relax it, and see how much you left here, and just maybe a bit straighten. So it gets not too closed, not too open, because then you're losing control. But you know, you still have like strong pick holding.
Let me know what you think, and if you'd like, it'd be awesome to Skype. And again, Shana Tova, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year indeed. Yeah, you're almost there, buddy. I mean, you're far more there than I ever was before I actually practiced it yesterday and today. Ever. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is this thing. This guy's name Sam Colson, and he plays really good wrist picking, 2 notes per string. Even Paul Gilbert liked it. I don't know if he really can stand in a row with Anton, because I mean he pretty much made a career from those 2 notes per string on YouTube at least. And he does play pretty decent, clean, but it sounds very academic and precise and a bit far from Zakk. Let's just see it now.
I'm here at the Great Guitar Escape with Sam Colson. He's borrowing my guitar, and Sam I discovered by watching YouTube, and I was really impressed with his vibrato and his super fast pentatonic stuff, and just overall musicality and rock faces. So it's really there, you have the whole package. And so what I want to find out, because Sam is decades younger than I am, but he's been able to build up a real authority on the instrument. in what I think is an incredibly quick period of time, and I'm curious how he did that. So Sam, how did you do that?
I tell you what, like going way back to when I started playing guitar, the amp I had was sort of a small kind of 10 watt solid state amp. I'd hear like, you know, guitar tones from valve amplifiers,
Blah blah blah.
but really loud
Blah blah blah.
control. That sort of forced me to, so I think in terms of control, that sort of forced me to sort of get things in control, if that makes sense.
Where did the vibrato come from?
The vibrato, I was talking about this earlier, I was talking about unison bends, and unison bends are pretty useful.
He has a great tip on vibrato on here of how to practice.
You can hear exactly when you're in tune.
That's for intonation.
You know when to stop, and I think that kind of gave me a good muscle memory of where the note was. And then sort of the way I developed that was bringing it up.
That's the exercise to practice vibrato, which I also need to do much more now that I switched to vibrato from the forearm rotation, not fingers. Really gives you a lot of control, especially for Zakk's wide vibrato. That's the way to go. Because Zakk's doing vibrato with the tens strings, I don't. Which doing with fingers is very hard. That's why I switched pretty much to and making it slow and wide. Really great exercise.
Making sure to return to pitch each time.
Yeah.
And you know, practice that slowly as you would anything. And with time it becomes natural.
It really transmits the rock phase. Listen to that. My next question is,
That's the part.
You have a really good facility with those tune-upper string pentatonic, like that's a really you've got that lick down really well.
It's useful.
So let's have a look at one first. Without hesitation, just diving right in and getting it right off the bat. That was stunning.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I talked about. He's using the wrist. It's really hard. I mean, need a lot of control in forearm. Look, his forearm almost doesn't
so
move.
Without hesitation, just dive.
His forearm actually very locked. I don't know how tense he is from his sitting. I don't know. He's like kind of bent forward, maybe because of the guitar. I don't know. But to achieve this this technique from the wrist takes a lot of time, and using Zakk's holding with the fingers on the guitar body much faster. That's like the Anton starting level. Here, if you want proof why they all rotate the forearm. See, that's when he plays. When he plays all his licks, is that one forearm rotation, and he keeps it for all of his picking. Then once he's done, look, his forearm, finished picking, hop, rotated. It because it's like naturally for you sitting, just holding the forearm. That's what's happening in St. Coulson case.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we quickly move to your next video.
Thank you for everything. Awesome responses back and forth on...
Hopefully this one is much better, maybe harsher, but again, it's just my opinion.
On YouTube.
All the disclaimers that you can think about, I'll have to say them here.
What I'd like to do, I'm in the middle of packing, so this is going to be my last video for a little bit with the guitar here, unfortunately. So what I like to do is play the Sold My Soul at a couple different BPM, and then play some 2-note per string stuff, and really just go over how it looks to you, and also how it feels to me, where I'm feeling movements, and just kind of give some descriptions and see if what I'm describing and how it feels is similar to what's going on with you. And again, any critique when you get a chance. I know it's the holidays. We're going to be tied up the next couple days. So love your insight.
Yeah, we just had Yom Kippur here, so I'm sorry for not doing this video on time, and that it's long, and that I talk too much, and maybe talk wrong, and you know, not politically correct, but hopefully, I mean, your questions did a lot of good things for me, like I discovered how to play on the top strings, so thank you first. Like, you helped me much more than I helped you for now.
But 15-year-old, I just got it. Bullseye, the Korean model. I love the yellow. As you can see right here, it kind of has the two-tone. Unfortunately, some jackass who had it before, as you can see right there, had it filled in, super glue, and buffed out. God, I'm just so pissed.
It's Zakk's guitar, it'll be fine. It has to be all,
you can see right there,
know,
the pick guard holes.
bit up.
It just kills me. Ironically, to put a pick guard on a Les Paul is a crime, unless you're Jimmy Page. And they also make them now where they're magnetic here and here, so you don't even need to drill a hole. But anyways, I'm rambling. Don't drill a hole in a guitar to protect it. Doesn't really make sense. Anyways,
Okay.
I'm going to do the Sold My Soul. I'm going to start at 100 BPM, go up 10 beats, and it'll be real quick before I kind of crap out in terms of quality picking. So here we go, 100 BPM. And I'll just do the first two strings, the E and the A, because those are the heaviest strings.
The picking path is perfect, though. Those triangles, so we have this triangle of that's great. But again, that same wrist, forearm rotation, blend. Just try to.
So right there, I felt
try picking from the elbow from the first exercise.
that wrist and
see how it goes.
that wrist movement and the forearm rotation, as you can see right there.
Yeah.
All right, this is 110.
Don't rotate your forearm during picking.
Let me zoom in
For Zakk's
a little bit
style.
more so you can get a better.
With Anton forearm rotation, it's a totally different thing.
All right.
Now, at some point, as you go faster and it happens naturally, you optimize it, like making the triangle more shallow, more parallel to the strings, and it's okay. But don't go too parallel, because then you'll start sliding inside. What happened in the previous video? This is much better.
130 BPM.
Yeah, so put your fingers on the guitar body, use them as the as another anchor point in case of, in this case, you're playing on the top strings or on the heavier strings, so you can really use your palm muting as an anchor point again, even stronger. Make sure you're sitting, I don't know how you sit here, it looks that you're bent a bit forward. Try sitting on a comfortable chair, like all the way back, put the guitar closer to you and take like to the right. This helped me massively to trying to play the intro, at least the level, from like total mess to something. Yeah.
All right, let's go 140. I'm not really warmed up, so I'm kind of hoping for the best.
Now, as soon as you get the idea of this, of the picking of the exercise, of the first exercise, and it's in control if you practice the proper thing. You won't need any warm-ups, like maybe 1 minute, just to get used to the pick. But it's a very robust technique. Long warm-ups are a sign of something is wrong.
Let me zoom out a little bit now that I think about it. I kind of feel I'm doing a little bit of the saw motion there, just to use the weight of the forearm and the wrist together. Sorry. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I don't know how much you put your forearm on the guitar. Try putting it even more. Like, shift your body, sit properly. To the back, to the right, to the back, to the right. Try to put more pressure. Maybe it will be a tiny bit painful, but see how it. Maybe that's what also happens here. Yeah. So as you can see, your elbow now is not moving. It's just, I mean, forearm from the elbow. I do. Pick from the elbow. Here, from this angle, it looks like you started picking pretty much parallel to the strings, but you still don't hit the 6th string, which is interesting. So I guess you're still doing something okay.
Yeah, let's go 145 just to see. Trying to do a little bit of saw to, again, use that weight.
Yeah, so that's one. Here you lose control. The previous one were okay. Here you lose control, and to get even better at those for those speeds, but make it more general for all strings will be much harder. I advise you to practice the picking from the elbow, from those strings. All what I talked about in previous video and in this video in the beginning, and then go to the upper strings with the palm, but still picking from the elbow and strings, fingers on the guitar body. That's my speed limit for 2 days practicing.
Not the cleanest on the E, yeah, but it's a heavy string. So let me try with the 2 fingers.
It's not the cleanest because of control mainly. I mean, and still it's far cleaner than I could ever play.
Yeah, it'll help a little bit.
That's the game of luck.
One more time.
If you can get lucky to play at this speed. And taking it to other strings and other components, like playing other strings, it's not as robust as the elbow.
All right.
I mean, look at your fingers. If you just put them more fingers on guitar body, you will feel much more comfortable and confident. Even with this technique, like picking with the wrist and forearm rotation and whatever works for you for now, just try putting the fingers on guitar body. Maybe it will even be enough for achieving the Sold My Soul solo.
All right, and then I'll do real quick. Do 100 BPM. I'll try to do the two note per string, and see how I do there.
I wonder how long this video is by now.
I think you were doing some B and the G string, so we'll try that. Feel a lot of wrist right there, 110. Sorry. Here we go, 110. Okay, there we go. Over here.
Yeah, so maybe sometimes if you have the feeling maybe you have a feeling still here of getting stuck on upstroke. That's because of the doing it from rotation, from trying to do it with forearm rotation, wrist forearm rotation. It's really hard. You need that momentum, like opening something really strong. It's hard.
Felt more wrist than anything.
Yeah, it's
110, go 120.
And as you said in your email, yeah, Zakk goes for hours. It's incredible. And going for hours with the wrist, I haven't seen, except for like Paul Gilbert. Maybe Anton can do it. I didn't. I mean, you need really to see a full show of the person playing it. But picking from the wrist, it might be a torture.
Still wrist mainly, unless you see something different. Let's go 130 BPM. Oh, that's 1230.
Yeah, try that.
130 BPM. I'm kind of straggling a little. I don't know if I'm lifting high enough. It didn't sound too good on the G string there.
Let's go frame by frame, up, okay. Here you see, this one you don't lift high enough probably. That's the hopping, I think. See? Let's see more. Up, down. Yeah, I think you're just not pulling the pick up enough. That's what limiting the. You're not achieving the triangle path. Like if we, if that's the, let's do something like that. Huh. So if those are our two strings, so what you do currently, I think what happens is the bottom is great, but the top you go like that, and then you from here you like trying to forearm rotate to get out and go down again. The bottom string is great, but the top, once you go try to lift up, you're trying to do it with the forearm rotation. If you use your elbow, you just go the same movement as on up, down, down, up, to the same point, visual point here, from which you have access to both strings. And if we do it with the, with the rest picking, it will be just hammering, hammering, hammer, 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 with the elbow.
All right, let's go for 140, see if I can do a clean. 1, 2.
No, the previous one was
God,
pretty much the limit with this technique.
Let me back it off to 135.
Still, it's the
Try it again.
130. That's the very hard limit. Yeah, it's hard to maintain over time.
They're still not working out too well.
Sorry.
All right, well, crapping out there at 135. So, yeah, 2 note per strings, definitely a little
not crapping
harder
out,
than
you're
it
getting
appears.
better.
Please let me know if you think I should try to do a little more saw motion, a little more wrist.
Less wrist, less rotation in a forearm. We rotate only one time to position the elbow with the wrist properly relative to guitar, so we can pick in this angle and not this. And we don't do this. We don't do the weird. We don't flex here. We keep it straight, but rotate it once. And we go with the elbow like up, down, up, down. The triangle.
Yeah, thanks for the insight. Talk to you soon, and happy holidays. Bye.
It really helped me to understand my own insights much better. So thank you very much for your questions. Actually, me first time talking for so long on the camera, so I'm sorry if it's too long, rambling, many mistakes and all. Usually my videos are all scripted for a week. I'm like going over each idea, so does it make sense? Maybe it's total nonsense. Use a teleprompter. So yeah, hopefully we both got better from this video, from this video exchange. Let's see if there's anything in the email that we didn't cover. So we talked about the forearm rotation. That when I talk about forearm rotation, you mean forearm rotation. Спокойной ночи. Я тебе тоже. When you talk about forearm rotation, you mean like during picking, using the forearm, but that's what I said, you'll get stuck on the upstroke if you try to use forearm rotation. Like the down is very intuitive for us, it's just using the gravity is just following your hand or wrist or whatever you decide, but on the upstroke it just gets stuck. For me, forearm rotation is just as a means, so we don't try to do triangles like that. We just like, that's weird, it's like blending string hops with this technique triangle. We just want to attack the string from this side. We want to attack it like with the edge picking, but symmetric, like parallel, because if we try to attack it like that, we just go or we miss or we go inside and get stuck. So we just go edge picking, this. If we had the bottom string, yeah, we go this rest picking, even for very fast, and the top strings rest picking. I think I did the rest picking in the intro as well. Very useful, just hammering on the strings. On the bottom string, up, down, nobody hears it from the distortion, nobody cares, and it's really useful and comfortable. So yeah, so that's the only forearm rotation we did, just for the elbow. Once you do the rotation, you just feel like you want to do like that and not like that. And we don't need any more rotation after that. Okay, forearm rotation we talked about, edge picking we talked about. Yeah, so hold out your right arm in front of you, pretend you're unlocking a door lock. Yeah, it's not unlocking door lock for picking, it's just rotating a bit. As I said in previous video, you need to experiment with rotating. You just don't want to hit the upper string when you go up when picking. Yeah, Zakk is a very big guy. I think that's the only reason he can handle playing tens and those wide bands. he's definitely, I don't know if he feels pain, but every person that if he just plays for now like Zakk plays, he'll feel pain, he'll bleed all over the stage if you play like Zakk. He just doesn't care. Yeah, so here's the interesting part. Being that we are analytical people, when you reply, please let's do a recap checklist of how Zakk Wylde speaks. Meaning we know to keep forearm rotation minimal, fingers with grip pressure but otherwise loose, right? Now there are fair amount of moving parts. That's the opposite of what you want. Actually, you want as less moving parts as possible. So if we want to summarize all the picking of Zakk Wylde, it's just one motion from bending the elbow. That's it. All the other things are generally locked and there's no reason to move them. The fingers are just a way as a measure to control the picking depth, but the only real part that moves is just the elbow. I mean, I don't know how we call it. Elbow bending, contracting, like forearm. Nothing else is moving here. I mean, it's moving on the guitar body, I mean, the fingers, yeah, or when you put it on the bridge for muting. But as a unit, nothing here moves, just the elbow. Yeah, so for practicing, what I said in previous video, for practicing, just start with practicing on one string. If you want to try whatever I'm talking about, like picking in Zakk's way, if you really dig that, what you heard in this video. If you dig those results, those are results of me practicing 2 years ago, maybe. How long it was free? I don't know. When did I publish my first practicing this technique? Let's see. Videos. 2 years ago. Practicing Zakk Wylde pentatonics. August 2016. So 3 years. 2 years, 3 years. 2016, 17, 18, 19. 3 years. It was February 17th. Anyways, you see here I'm doing a mistake. I'm bending my thumb all the time. That was a mistake. Today I'm... Where's the... I'm not bending. That's the reason why sometimes it sounds like I'm getting stuck. I mean, it's not consistent in time, like intervals, one between another. I think it's because I'm moving the thumb while the elbow pretty much... And here you can see, that bend, that's actually where I first started bending because I didn't use my fingers as much. That's exactly the bend you were talking about. This strange bend, which I don't do anymore. I just rotate the forearm, still relatively straight. some things I changed over time. I miss a lot of strings here. The noise is when you stop playing and you don't play accurately. A lot of I mean, it was much better than I ever could play before that, but far from perfect. That's starting with an upstroke. Even at upstrokes, I did bend my thumb all the time. Even less. But it's not the same tone as Zakk's. So here I'm playing on the first and the second string, but do it when you start doing the transitions, play on the second, or if you practice what you might practice, because on the second string we can use the rest picking. On the first string, you might go all wiggly and schmiggly because you don't know how far to pick. Second string, limits are picking down on downstroke by the first string. So yeah, thank you very much. You actually helped me a lot and much more than I helped you, unless you actually go and try it. And hopefully we'll get much better in the near future. Bye.